Okay, well, my fault. I completely didn't think about turning the page because we weren't done with homework number 2. So here's the second page to homework number 2. And let's go ahead and get this done. So on this page, they would like you to identify if it's ionic or covalent bond. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put covalent bond is sharing. And when they share, I'm going to put equals a line. There must be lines. Covalent bondings are going to be a non-metal plus a non-metal. Ionic bonding is a metal plus a non-metal. It can be a transition and a non-metal. It can be a polyatomic and a non-metal. It can be polyatomic and polyatomic. It can be a metal and a polyatomic. Okay? But there's going to be some kind of ion that's going to go along with the ionic bond. So let's do that first. Let's identify if it's ionic or covalent. How do I identify if it's ionic or covalent? Well, we need to decide if it's a metal, non-metal, or if it's a non-metal, non-metal. Magnesium is a metal, ionic bonding. Aluminum is a metal, ionic bonding. Potassium is a metal, ionic bonding. Carbon and hydrogen are both non-metals, covalent bonding. Okay? So when you have questions like this, if you're looking to see which one of those is going to be a correct match, first thing is this is an ionic bonding, so there is no sharing. And because there is no sharing, then that means that it cannot be this one or this one because there is no sharing. It should no sharing. No sharing. Should not occur. Should not share. Now I've got between C and D. Now when I looked at this, this tells me here, the formula tells me it's going to have 1 magnesium and 2 chlorines. This one has 1 magnesium and 1 chlorine. So it cannot be here because we are missing a chlorine atom. So it has to be C. Okay? So hopefully if you're able to go ahead and know a few things, you can you can knock a few of the answers out of the way, and hopefully it's a little bit easier for you that way. Let's go ahead and come over here. We only have A or B to choose from. But look at this. Ionic bonding means that there is no sharing, so it cannot be B because there should be no sharing. Because sharing has lines and it cannot have lines. So it has to be A. Ionic. On ionic, again, we have a metal and non-metal, which means it cannot share. So it cannot be A because there should be no sharing. Okay? Now I have between B and C. Potassium, there are 2. Selenium, 1. So look at this. I'm missing a potassium. I only have 1 here, so I'm going to put missing a potassium. So it can only be B. Hopefully you're able to see that I'm able to just knock some of them out of the way, my answer choices, and it makes it a little bit easier. Let's come over here. This is a covalent, so it must share. So it cannot be A and it cannot be D. I'm going to put right here, it must share. It must share, meaning that it must have lines. Now we're down to B or C. Let's come over here. There's 1 carbon and 4 hydrogens. 1 carbon, 4 hydrogens. 1 carbon, 4 hydrogen. Now let's go to the next thing that we need to make sure that we know. We need to know that our octet rule. There's a few exceptions to the rules. One of the exceptions is boron. Boron can only have 6 for its octet to be happy. Hydrogen has to have 2. So in that case, then, hydrogen does not have, imagine hydrogen as a 2-seat car, right? It's just a 2-seater. There's not enough seats for all of those, for 8 electrons to get into that. I mean, what the heck? Hydrogen's not like a minivan. It's just a sports car that has 2 seats in it. There is no way that that many people can fit into a hydrogen if like hydrogen was a car. Okay? So there's no way. There's too many electrons on the hydrogen atom. So it can only be B. Okay? Again, trying to be able to knock out what's incorrect helps you to decide what's the right one. Alrighty, now we're officially done with homework number 2. Let's move on to homework number 3.